Hello, my name's Charlene Douglas. I'm a relationship therapist and I've been working with Fittleworth and the Connections Relationship Programme to help couples to communicate as they navigate their stoma journey. So Rachel and Stu, we've covered quite a lot today, haven't we? We've spoken about the importance of effective, clear communication with our partners. We've spoken about the importance of being really open when you can, but also having that space to process your own emotions as well, which is also really important. We've looked at the power of humour as well, you know, that you've got a special name for your stoma and that has really helped you to work through this. And of course, there's lots of other support out there with your stoma nurse being one of them and online. And, you know, where possible, it's really important to share that with each other, you know, to keep each other informed of what's going on within the relationship.
I think it's hugely important, Charlene. I know when we were going through our journey together with Maganda, it was, you know, we were seeking advice and support. And, well, actually your stoma nurse was a real, you know, breath of knowledge for yourself. And then for me as well, because Rach would obviously report back the findings from the stoma nurse and what had happened in the nurse meeting, and that was really good, and it made me feel comfortable that Rach was being supported clinically.
I think sometimes there might be things that, you know, I would bring up with the stoma nurse that perhaps I wasn't comfortable talking to Stu about or needed some advice on. So that's where the stoma nurses are absolutely brilliant. You can talk to them about anything, and you know, you won't be judged, and you'll get the experience and advice coming back.
One thing that I'd really like to introduce to the two of you is some of the tools that we have created together with Fittleworth to help couples to talk more openly about how they're feeling and about their emotions. Now, we spoke a little bit earlier about the importance of not forgetting who you are as a couple, you know, what brought you together in the first place, what you enjoy together, what makes you laugh together. So these conversation cards are being created to remind you of just that. So the idea is that you spend some time, maybe choose a nice Thursday evening or Friday evening for a date night, and that you just take some time to ask each other questions around, you know, what do you enjoy about me? What was the first thing you ever saw? You know, what was the first thing you saw when we first met? You know, what makes you smile about me? Things like that remind you of the reason why you're together in the first place.
That sounds awesome. Yeah.
Excellent. There's another tool that I'd really like to introduce to you called the emotional wheel, which is what we've got just here. Now, sometimes when we're feeling a particular strong emotion, it can be really difficult to acknowledge what we're feeling and even why we're feeling that. And so this emotional wheel helps you to just reflect on what might be going on for you, but it gives you some prompts because there are lots and lots of words on there, and you can then choose sometimes about 3, 4, 5 might be good, just to acknowledge what's really going on for you. It also helps to generate the conversation with your partner as well, because that could be quite difficult to start that conversation, can't it?
In terms of the resources, I think they would have been so useful to us at the time, and they still may be now. Doesn't mean to say we have everything sorted. One thing that I would say to someone in our situation about the resources is don't be frightened to sort of have access to the resources and actually use them, because quite often, you know, I might sort of think something was a good idea, but it could be quite difficult to bring up with Stu or with, you know, if it's with your partner. I often sort of thought, I just want everything to return to normal. Why isn't it? And it can be quite hard to think that you may need something like this to help you. But I think it would have, you know, helped us on our journey a lot quicker if we'd have had them available.
And at the same time that I'm thinking, I would like a conversation starter as well, you know.
Yeah.
And a resource card, the conversation card, would have been a good way that maybe I would have picked something up if we'd have had them at hand and used that to elicit the conversation. So, you know, it's about bringing, it would have been really good to bring us together so we could understand that each of us needed to talk about something and maybe we both wanted to talk about something at the right time, but we didn't know how to start that conversation. That's the difficult bit, isn't it? Is getting it over the line and getting it started. So the conversation cards would have been, I think, a really good resource that we could have just kept on the kitchen island and just suddenly popped one up and gone, you know, shall we have a conversation, you know, something I would like to talk about. Or again, use them in a more, you know, confidence inspiring way when we could have thought back to how life was before and remember, actually, we're no different. We've just got something extra.
What other programs have you used that you found to be really useful?
Well, I accessed Simple Steps, which before my operations I was quite active, and then it is really important for someone with a stoma to build back up their strength, and particularly in the area that you've had your stoma. So I just found it a really helpful program that I could do at home, and I could do when it suited me. And there's various, as it says, simple steps, but from pre-surgery to post-surgery to 6 or 3 months on. And it helped me to build up my sort of confidence and fitness levels. And that was just brilliant, really. And the other thing was the Ostoma's Kitchen, which there is so much advice from all different angles when you have stoma surgery, and depending on the type of stoma and the reason you have the stoma, it can be so confusing on what to eat, what not to eat. And the Ostoma's Kitchen has recipes as well. So it's just been really useful to make sure that you have the right nutrition there as well, because it can be very easy to just stick to a very plain diet because you're worried about what you should and shouldn't eat and the consequences when you've done so. So it's just really helpful.
Excellent. So I think the very powerful message is that you don't have to do this alone.
No.
Definitely not, no. And, you know, I think looking on the internet can be helpful, but also very confusing. So these resources seem to just make things a lot clearer.
Yeah, resources that have been curated, you know, for you for that particular need, I think is really important. There's lots of focus on the clinical side, less focus on the lifestyle and diet side, but that is hugely important in part of the recovery, and allows you to live a more normal life. And watching Rach go through those steps and undertake the Simple Steps program has been really, really good, and has helped you to get back on the bike and help you do other things that you didn't think were possible. It's very inspirational.
Lovely. We hope you have found a lot of encouragement from listening to Rachel and Stu's journey. For more information on the Connections Toolkit and the Fittleworth programs, please go to fittleworth.com. If you've been affected by any of the issues raised in this video, please get in touch with either your GP or stoma nurse, who will help you to access the resources and support that you need.